Let's talk about it. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Royalty Room Live. I have a special guest with us today, ladies. It is an amazing, young, talented gentleman who is going to teach us and school us and educate us where we need to be educated on financial literacy. And I look forward to his teaching, ladies, because let me tell you something. I like to spend. And let me tell you, it don't be coming back like I want it to be. So I'm trying to pick up some jewels today, because he's going to teach us how to build legacy. Not only is this man fine, he is also very, very intelligent. Ladies and gentlemen, Mr. Marcus Faison.
Great introduction. I appreciate the introduction. Thank you.
Well, I had to tell him the truth.
Thank you.
So, Marcus, tell me, what made you want to come on the show today?
Well, it was a multitude of things.
Okay.
The first thing just being wanting to teach, wanting to give back, understanding that first of all, in our community, we don't necessarily express and share things in the financial area as we should. And then I just wanted to bring light to some of the things that. Some of the simple things that we can start off to do, as well as, when we're talking about generational wealth, things of that nature, even just for yourselves, as far as investing, things that we don't normally have that type of conversation on an everyday basis when we should.
And we need to talk about money as much as we like to spend it.
Exactly.
You know what I'm saying? We should be having conversations about how to grow it, how to build it. Now, we do have those conversations about how people want to be entrepreneurs, people want to earn more money in their jobs.
Most definitely.
But we need to talk about how to make the money that we have, no matter how big or how much it is, how we can make that money grow.
Exactly.
And that's what you're going to teach us today.
And that's one of the things that I'm going to shed light on. Lead you down the right path and just give you a little bit. It's not something that is going to be done in one sitting, so it's something that takes time, but that's what I'm here for, just to kind of break the ice, and see where everybody is and go from there.
Give us a little taste so we can get started down the right path.
Exactly.
Okay, I respect that. I appreciate that.
Most definitely.
Okay, well, what made you get into and focus your passion on financial literacy?
Okay, so that's a good question. So for myself, I started as a professional basketball player. So to take you back a little bit.
Please do.
Take you back a little bit. When I was younger, my father, he was in the military. So I was a military brat. I traveled around a lot when I was very young. And then, unfortunately, tragedy hit, and my father, he passed away when I was very young. So he got sick when I was around maybe 15 years old. And, I had to really grow up pretty fast and really become the man of the house. So that meant having to, look at the finances, having to take over, because my mother was, a Southern belle, let's say, and in the old tradition of where the man takes care of everything, and she really didn't know what was going on financially as far as for the family. So when he passed away, that kind of put an emphasis on me, being an only child, to really be, the head of the house at a young age. It actually, built me and built my mindset to where, I got to get this thing for myself. I had someone, I like sports. I was always interested in sports. And I had a gentleman one day tell me that, if you're pretty good at basketball, for example. I started, my first sport was football. But you could see us from my physique, I didn't really work out as a football player. But I was good at basketball, and I had a guy tell me that, if you're good enough, you can get a scholarship. So that once that I had that drive, and, that was my whole mindset of, hey, I'm going to get a scholarship, I'm going to push it, I'm going to, do all these things too. That was my way out. that was really my only way out of the situation that we were in from a family situation. I was able to get a scholarship. I was able to go to college. And in high school and in college, I got through. I got a degree. But in those high school and college, I never learned anything about personal finances, right? It's not something that they teach us in high school. I know nowadays about 21 to 23 actually now have to have at least one class of financial literacy in high schools now. So at my time, it wasn't around, and I'm sure for a lot of people that are watching this now, it wasn't around, and even
it wasn't for me.
Right, and even in the college, even in college, I went to a 4-year school, and we never got taught anything about personal finances. We got economy. I was a business major. My major was marketing management.
Oh, okay.
So
what did you like about marketing?
I really started as a computer science major, and because again the finances wasn't there, and we were traveling a lot, I didn't have a personal laptop, and I didn't have access to all that stuff, so I had to change my major, and marketing and business was something that I was interested in. Obviously, like a lot of us, we want to be entrepreneurs and work for ourselves, so that was the route that I thought I would take at that time. And eventually, I did get the degree. And fortunately or unfortunately, I didn't have to use it because I was able to play professional basketball for about 14 years. And, I did a little bit of the NBA right when I first graduated from college. Once I wasn't able to secure a contract for the full year, I took it, over to Europe and.
Oh, you went international.
Right. Yep.
I want to dive deep into this basketball. You know, I'm very interested because you are 6'5". You don't just walk down the street and meet somebody that's 6'5". So I know you were very talented at what you did when you played basketball. So I know you had an amazing career. But I want to take it all the way back.
Okay.
Tell me where you from, where you were born. Tell me about little Marcus that was running around with a soggy diaper. Tell me about him. Take me back.
I got you. So, like I said, I was, always around in the military with my pops. So, originally, my mother and my father, they're from North Carolina. My mother was actually born in Brooklyn, New York, and then moved down to North Carolina, but they met in North Carolina, so that's where a lot of my roots are, in North Carolina and in Philadelphia. I've lived in Texas, El Paso, Texas.
Okay.
I lived in Hawaii, actually.
Oh, what part?
Oahu.
Oh, me too.
Oh,
I lived
really?
in Haleiwa for a year.
Okay, I was on Fort Shafter.
Oh, okay, military.
Yeah, military. All
Okay.
that, yeah.
You were right there.
Yeah, so I used to
would
go
pass
visit
by
Waikiki and all that.
Waikiki, of course. Yeah, right down the
How
road.
long were you there?
A year and a half.
Okay.
2014.
Oh, really?
Then from there, I came here in 2015.
Oh, wow. Okay. Well, I was there way before that. I was a young buck when I was there, like maybe 9 years old. So I started. That's where I started to play sports and things of that nature. And then after that, I went to high school in Texas.
El Paso.
In El Paso, Texas, and I was there for probably 6 years, I think it is. And then from there, I went to New York, and that's where I went to Siena College. It's in Albany, New York.
Okay.
And then from there,
What did you like about that college, Albany?
I wanted to get back closer to the East Coast. I didn't want to stay out in the West. I had some offers to stay in California or even Texas or New Mexico, but I wanted to get back closer to the East Coast, closer to my family. And so that was the main reason that I went to Siena College. Just the experience to be in New York. And we were fortunate enough to have good teams. We went to the NCAA tournament.
Nice.
Things of that nature. We were up in the top 25. So, it just, the universe just manifested.
Divine.
Right. It just manifested everywhen And
you sent me a picture with you you're being presented a trophy.
Okay.
Tell me about that.
Okay, that was when I was in Europe. That was in 2000, and that one was in 2005, and I was fortunate enough to be awarded the MVP of the league.
See, I knew you had an amazing career. I knew it. Wow.
I mean, I can't complain.
That's pretty awesome. Now, just go ahead and pop your collar. Ain't nothing wrong with that. Just go ahead and pop it there.
Yeah, it was.
Do it.
All right. Yeah, so
you deserve that.
Yeah, thank you.
Congratulations to you. You still have it.
Yeah, I still have it. I won 2 while I was out there.
Just more than one.
Yeah, it was that picture was in 2005. But,
okay.
Yeah, it was I was fortunate enough to have a pretty long career and pretty successful.
That's what's up.
I was able to make it my livelihood, which is something that a lot of people don't get a chance and opportunity to do.
Now, tell me about when the money started rolling in. How did that affect you and where you are now with the financial literacy? Tell me about that story.
Okay, that's a great question. So you're good, and that's really the biggest thing for what I do now is based off of, what I've went through in the past, being a professional basketball player for so long, having a lot of teammates, ex-teammates, even guys that I played against, staying in contact with them after our careers. And what happened is, I was fortunate enough to, make a good amount of money over the time frame that I was able to play. And I was around a lot of people who made a lot of money. And what brought me to what I do now is because I saw we weren't having these conversations in the locker room. We weren't talking about how to make this money that we're making that could actually really sustain your family and your family's family if it was taken care of and managed in the correct manner.
Multiplied.
Right. It could have multiplied and, and this is something that we don't have the conversation about in the locker room. There's several documentaries where you can see, there's one that in particular that sticks out to me, and it's called ESPN 30 for 30 Broke. Simply as that, broke. And what it highlights basketball players, football players, baseball players who have made millions of dollars, and yet by the time they're retired, 5 years for the NBA specifically, 5 years after retirement, 70% of the players are in 70% of the players are in financial difficulty within 5 years, and that's after making millions of dollars. So for myself, I was fortunate enough to make a couple $1 million. Well, it's not even what I did different. I'm not even going to say that I did things different because
you had to do something. If you know what I mean.
I made some mistakes.
Okay.
I had about halfway through my career, I was able to get a financial advisor.
Okay.
With the financial advisor that I did get, I still wasn't taught what to do with the money.
He was doing it.
I was doing it, but it was more of opportunities that were presented to me in opposed of what I can do with my own money, how I can make my own money grow, things of that nature. The first thing that you do is, and especially in our community, is when you do get some money, you have to take care of family. You have to take care of friends, things of that nature, where it's not always about when you hear athletes and you see they blow their money or things of that nature, you hear dumb athlete. And for me, that's one of my biggest pet peeves. And not because I think that I'm a dumb athlete or I think the athletes are dumb. I know from the inside that it's not always just blowing the money. You have people that are starting business, trying to have businesses at a very young age. Fortunately, I was able to make a couple $100,000 at 22, 23 years old, where, you have the average person, these businessmen that you see now, or even Steve Jobs, or even Donald Trump, people of this, all of these caliber people, they didn't make that type of money at the young age. They spent years and years of trying to find out, oh, if I make this money, when I make this money, these are the moves that I make. So a lot of people look at athletes and say, oh, they're dumb because they end up blowing their money. But what would you do? The question that I like to ask them all the time is, what would you do at the age of 21, 22, 23, 25 years old, and you have large sums of money being, given to you for something that, a job that you're doing, but you've never had that type of money. Right. You've never had, or, I can't speak for everyone, but a lot of people that I know don't come from a lot of money. And when you look at family members, you might get a contract for $100,000, let's say, and they think that you've made it. They think, hey, the world is over. Like, this is it. You can take care of the family forever with this $100,000.
Forever.
And that's just so far
it's
from
unreasonable.
the truth. Right. It's unreasonable. It's unrealistic.
Right.
But when you have it, but we don't think, and then as athletes, you don't think retirement is a taboo word. We don't want to hear about retirement, but we have to, the earlier that you start to think about retirement, the smaller amounts of money that you have to put away for that money is called time value of money. The earlier that you start putting away money and investing, the smaller amounts that you can start with, and the longer over time. When you talk about compound interest,
I was just about to say that.
Right.
See, I know a little something.
Right. You're not here by accident.
Not by accident at all.
Right. So when we talk about compound interest, and that's something that we'll kind of get into.
Okay.
But that's one of the things that we'll look at, and that's one of the biggest ways, one of the 3 rules of money when you're talking about building wealth. Compound interest is one of those 3 valuable components that you do have to focus on.
I definitely want to learn some Rockefeller tips.
There you go.
That's where I'm at with mine. Like, how do they keep their money?
Okay, so
some Wells Fargo tips.
Right.
Give me. Not the bank. I'm talking about the family.
Right, exactly. So it's funny that you mentioned Rockefeller, and I don't know if you've done your research or you just that witty.
I know they not just 1%. They in the 0.1%.
Right. So with Rockefeller, what they did was they used insurance. They used insurance as a wealth building vehicle back then, and nowadays you might hear of people saying they want to become their own bank, right? And there's multiple ways that you can do that, but insurance, life insurance, whole life insurance is one of the avenues to where you can turn that life insurance policy into a bank that's going to be growing compound interest with your money. And what that is it's called an index universal life policy. So that's something to where I'm not going to get into that right now.
That took me out. I was like, wait a minute, what now?
Right.
I don't think I was ready for that one.
Right. And that's something to where, if that's something that you guys want to, go deeper into, you're going to be able to get in contact with me.
We just scratching the surface. Let's see how deep we're going to go.
Exactly.
Because that was some varsity stuff right there. I think I'm not even ready for the JV yet. You got to get me there, Marcus. Right. You got to get our viewers there. We got to learn together.
Right. And that's exactly what I do. That's what I'm, now I feel like this is a calling for me. This is a way for me to give back, just to give these type of, gems that I've learned, since I've, finished and been retired as a basketball player. And it was just like the universe just manifested itself. I was actually brought into this type of business by a family friend. One of my younger cousins, one of his best friends, was in the business while I was playing, and we didn't stay in contact as much. I was over there, he was here.
Life happens.
Right, so we didn't stay in contact as much. But then once I retired and I finally came back to the States, we happened to run into each other at a basketball event, and he told me what he was doing, and it kind of, like I said, went along with what I've already know that people are not weary of. They don't know really how money works, right? And
true.
How it can work for you. So once he told me, he ran me down how some of the things that you can do to actually make money and make the money work for you, no matter if you have a lot of money or even if you're starting with a little bit of money. You talk about entrepreneur, like you mentioned earlier. A lot of us like to talk about entrepreneurship,
Right.
which is great. You know, it's a great thing. But even in entrepreneurship, you always have to know how to cover yourself, right? How to cover your bases. And one of the biggest things when you talk about an entrepreneur like yourself is taxes, right? Taxes is huge. So taxes is another one of those 3 rules of money.
I need to know how to do the tax breaks.
Right.
That's where I need some help.
Right. So
How can I get a break?
right. That's what we all want to know, right? We all want to know how to get those tax breaks.
Yes.
And one of the ways that, you know, if we were to sit down and really have a one-on-one, it's called a tax advantage account, right? And what a first of all, there's only 3 ways that you can be taxed anyway, right? There's tax now, which is if you're a W-2 employee, and you're taxed when you get your check, you're already taxed. The taxes are already taken out. So that's a tax now. After that, you have a tax deferred or tax later. That's where you talk about with your 401ks, you know, where you're not taxed on the front end, but you're taxed on the back end when you're ready to take your money out.
Right.
Well, there's a third area that you can be taxed or not taxed. It's called tax advantage or tax never. And what those are...
Wait a minute. You said never?
Or tax never.
Ever?
Tax never.
Okay.
Right. And those are called tax advantage accounts. And those are where it's simply that. You're able to put money into accounts where there's no taxes to put the money in, but there's also no taxes to take that money out, and it's able to grow compound interest while it's sitting in this account. And different than the 401k, you actually have access to this money before the 59.5 rule, like with the 401k, where you can't touch that money without being penalized before 59.5. So again, I don't want to bombard you with all of these things, but these are the things that we don't talk about as a community,
Not
and
enough.
they're accessible to all of us. Exactly like you said, not enough.
It's just not
enough.
Because I feel like, you know, I'm a veteran. I'm a registered nurse. I'm an entrepreneur. You know, I'm in my prime.
Right.
You know, I should be financial literate. I have had enough money in my hands to be able to have tripled and doubled and. Come on now.
I'm imagining. I mean, I imagine. That
you know what
have.
I mean? So I really like the fact, Marcus, that you offer one-on-one consultations.
Yep.
And you make yourself available to sit down and discuss with people their specific, unique situation.
Exactly. Because, like you said, everybody's situation is different. And when you sitting down and you're family planning or financial planning, you want to make it more specific to that individual, because you know it's not a cookie cutter. It's not a cookie cutter situation.
I'm not a cookie cutter kind of girl.
Right, exactly. So you got to be, you know, managed and unique and managed individually.
Right.
And the good thing about this and why I love what I do now is just because, number one, for that one-on-one, we're not charging. There's no charge to sit down and go over this information. And we talk about education, right? We've been talking this whole time about financial literacy, right? So how can we, or why would we charge for education if that's the goal, to get that out there?
That's true.
You know, that's one of the ways that, you know, that everybody has access to this, because it's no cost. Right, and that's the good thing, and that's why I love being able to sit down with anybody at any time and really break down and just see what's your situation. You know, because you money can be cumbersome. You know, it can be overwhelming, and that's part of my job, is to, you know, look and see what you have going on and see how to make it less cumbersome, how to make it less intimidating, you know,
And
things
how to
of
make
that
it work
nature.
for you.
And how to make it work for you. Exactly.
You know, it was so hard for me. You know, there's been several times, I can count on my hands, you know, how many times I've come across a lump sum of money that, you know, happened to come to me, you know, very fortunate for whatever reason to have had a lump sum. And I've looked for financial advisors, and, you know, I never really wanted to go to like a really big firm. I always wanted to like work with somebody one-on-one.
Right.
And I had such a difficult time finding someone.
Well, that's I can imagine. But like for myself, I like I said, for the first half of my career, I didn't have a financial advisor, and there's a lot of reasons why that may be the case. First of all, finances is very it's a touchy subject, because a lot of people don't like to indulge on how what their finances look like, because it's intimidating, because it's maybe something that they're not in the best position that they want to be. It can be embarrassing, things of that nature, and that's why the company that I partner with, it's a very big company, but it's broke. The thing that I like about it is that we're able to break it down to where teams are being, you're going to get that one-on-one because the teams are broken down. Let's say you're not going to have a million different clients. You're going to have that one-on-one so that you can actually help and grow. And when you're talking about an entrepreneur, for example, you're able to grow and put them in position, or help them put themselves in position to grow, and you're able to help and grow with them. With financial educators, the problem that I had was who to trust. Trust is a big issue, because when you hear financial advisors, financial educators, you've heard the horror stories of people, taking people's money and doing whatever they want to do with it. And that's where I like what we do, is because we're not going to be doing anything with your money. We're going to be teaching you, and that's why we're financial educators and not financial advisors. There is a slight difference.
Okay.
So
you say we. Who's we?
Okay, so the company that I partner with is called How Money Works, and that's the nonprofit company. The big company is WealthWave. And, like I said, so How Money Works is literally that. We teach and we focus on the educational aspect of it, but we also have the contacts, the companies, and we are able to not only show you and educate you on what to do with the money, we're actually able to help you implement it. And this is where the education is going to be, you going to be implementing it and knowing why you're doing what you're doing with your money. In opposed of just saying, hey, this is what he told me to do, I'm doing it.
That's the advisor.
Right. There you go. And so that's the difference, and that's why I really enjoy it, because it's something to where you don't have to trust me. What we're showing you, it's gonna speak for itself, to where you're gonna be making the decision for yourself and for your business.
It's like teaching someone to fish instead of fishing for them.
You see, look, it's a reason why you do this, right? That's exactly what it is. That's exactly what it is, and that's also the reason why someone like working with us, partnering with us, you can actually get paid, and this is kind of like a side note, but you can actually get paid and make that an additional stream of income by doing exactly that. You may not know all of what's going on, but by the referral program that we have, it's a way that you could actually make an additional stream of income, and a very good additional stream of income, by doing just that, leading the fish to the water, or leading someone to the water
to catch a fish
so that they
themselves.
can learn to fish for themselves. And that's exactly that's exactly another good thing that I like about the company that I partner with, is that that's available for someone who, people that are looking for an additional stream of income.
I may have some referrals for you.
Okay.
My friend Chrissy and I, we actually just she just went to this broker program, kind of like a broker, where she is connecting people to lenders.
Okay.
And I'm going to be assisting her and helping her with that business.
Okay.
And we come across so many people, just between social media, And in our endeavors, she sells candles, I sell jewelry and earrings, and we work together on the Glen Van Atlanta, and we do events and pop-up shops, and we meet so many people, and everybody wants money, everybody needs money.
Exactly.
So if we find lenders that accept low credit scores or low income but high, find the right lenders for them, then we're already talking money.
Exactly.
So now that we got you this loan, I'm gonna refer you to my friend Marcus, and he's going to show you how to make that money work for you.
How to make that money double,
did
triple.
I do it?
You did it exactly right. We already working together. We already got a rapport. We already have a rapport. And
Okay.
that's exactly that. Okay. You're already right on the same page.
Okay.
Take this whole thing now. It's going to be global. Your royalty, global.
And the Glen Van Atlanta as
global.
well.
All of it, global.
Oh. So what do you think of my royal toddy?
It's good. You see, I've been sipping on. I like tea, and the extra kick that we got right there.
A little hint. I like Hennessy in my royal toddies, guys.
Right. It's delicious. So
I introduced Marcus to the Royal Tea Room's royal toddies, and he loves them.
Love it. So when you guys come on the show, definitely you got to try it out, even if you don't like tea.
Because it's amazing. So it's turmeric tea. We got a little honey, a little bit of lemon, and a little bit of Henny.
A little bit of Henny. Never hurt anybody.
I wouldn't mind a little top off.
Right.
A little top off on the top.
Yes, ma'am. From the host.
Just a little something, a little intermission.
Let me go ahead and tap mine out.
Just a little swagger.
Always good.
So, Marcus, where do you find the time to educate people and meet with them one-on-one and everything?
Well, that's a good question. That's another good thing about what I do is that I have my that's a good one. Let me see what we got here. Let me see what we have. That made it perfect.
Okay.
So it was good. It was good before, but now it's perfect.
It get there a little bit right around here. Get your R's, your R's. It was delicious like that.
It's good. It's perfect like that. Yeah. So like I was saying, as far as the finding the time, it's great because I'm able to do it on my own time, and also we have a team. I have a team of individuals that do the same thing that I do, so it's not all on me. I just came back from the Dominican Republic, so I was able to get out and do some other things, and that's what really we talk about financial independence and time independence, time freedom and things of that nature. And this is fortunately with what I do, I'm able to have that time and financial freedom.
That's amazing.
That's
perfect. That's what we all want.
That's what we're all looking for. There's real estate, there's insurance, there's so many different things to make money. But how do you make that money? Whatever you do to make money, how do you make that money continue to grow? Working for you while you're sleeping, things of that nature.
Right.
Things of that nature. That's one of the biggest things. I had an older gentleman tell me something that has really resonated with me and stuck with me. So he told me that somebody who's working a job and saving money, right, not spending it, even if you're spending, but even if you're saving, just saving money will not make you generational wealth. Just saving money will never do that. You have to invest. You have to have something where you're
each and every time
where you're getting some compound interest. You have to have your money doubling and tripling, and there's something to where it's called a rule of 72. Right? And this is something that I don't know if people have heard about, but the rule of 72 is just a simple math formula that says how long it will take you to actually double your money, right?
Okay.
And what it is basically 72 divided by whatever the interest rate where you have your money positioned. You mentioned the banks earlier, right?
Mm-hmm.
So most of your major banks are giving you less than 1% interest, right? Less than
Horrible.
1% interest, and
Horrible.
horrible. And when we really have that one-on-one, I'm gonna show you, or you can do something as simple as take a look at your savings account. Take a look at your statement at the end of the month, and look at how much money that they're actually giving you, that the banks are actually giving you for having your money in the bank.
3 cents a month.
Exactly.
I'll be looking at that, I'm like, just why?
Exactly. But yet, what the banks are also doing is they're using our money and investing it in Forex, investing it in stocks, and growing their money and growing their business to a $10 trillion a year business, right?
And giving us literal pennies.
And literally giving us less than pennies for having our money in the banks. So, when we look at that, we say, well, what are the other options that we have, right? What are the other options that we have for our money if we don't put it in the bank? That's what we're going to be talking about when we sit down with the one-on-one.
Okay.
Right?
I'm interested. Now I'm interested and want to know what you got in the books.
Okay, yes, right.
What's going on? He brought gifts. He got books. So
right, we got some books here. We got them for you. We got them for a couple of your friends, your partners. So the name of the book is called How Money Works, Stop Being a Sucker, right? And this is actually one of the top selling personal finance books in the country. It's sold on Amazon.
Wow.
It's been publicized on some of the biggest platforms when you're talking about Fox, CNBC, the Money Channel. It's been viewed by more than 75 million people at this point. And the good thing about this book is that it's a very layman's terms book. If you can see this, I don't know if you can get a close-up of this, but it's a very layman's term. It looks like it's cartoon characters, but yet the actual financial concepts in the book are very powerful, even life-changing. And we give these books out because this is something that's so simple. It takes about an hour and a half to read. It's 100 pages, and it really gets your mind to working on how simple things that we can do, as far as, even like we just talked about, as far as putting your money in the bank. What are some of the other ways that you can grow your money? Yeah, definitely. That's why I brought it for you.
I need to all the way read this in real life for realsies.
Definitely. It's so many different financial concepts in there that when you read it, you'll be like, wow, that's something simple that I can change. That's something simple that I can do. Why haven't I been doing it? And it's just the simple fact of, if you don't know what questions to ask. And you can't fault yourself. I can't fault myself. You can't fault yourself.
What you don't know, you don't know.
What you don't know, you don't know. If you don't know, you're going to ask the right questions. But once you do figure it out, now where can you go from there is the main thing.
Okay, so I'll definitely be keeping a copy in the royalty room.
Okay, most definitely.
In the creator studio, so people can read them.
Definitely.
It is now part of my collection, and one of them will be at my bedside because I was reading it in there. I saw a little clip in there, and one portion was talking about just like your indices expenses, lattes, fast food, cleaning, what is it, cleaners, and just Netflix and
all of that.
Nails, just all the little things that makes life goes around.
What do you have left at the end of the day? So in that way, you can see, I have a Netflix, I have a gym membership, I have a car wash, all of these things where you see, if this is something that I want to cut, I can cut here, 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 and here. Now, you might find $100, $200 more every month, where you thinking, hey, I didn't do anything to get this $200. Well, you did. You cut back on this, you manipulated that, and now you have an extra $100, $200, or even more to do something and invest. put it in a different area that is going to be working for you. Things of that
I
nature.
feel so exposed. You're absolutely right. You know, when we talked about, you know, people saying that, you know, their financial situations are in disarray and how they may feel exposed. I feel exposed because I know Hulu, Apple, all the Apple apps, all of them is getting my money.
Hey, well, join the club, you know.
I mean, the money is coming in, but honey, it is going out as well.
Hey, welcome to the club.
Welcome to America.
Welcome to America, and that's something that, you know, we look at. There's actually like a statistic of, you know, and it's alarming when you look at it. It's 44% of Americans can't afford a $400 emergency, which is alarming.
Oh, yeah, I've heard that.
Well, and that number goes over 50% when you're talking about $1,000 emergency, you know, so that's car breaking down, that's, you know, what have you. That can change a life for a family. And that's some of the things that the book talks about, to where, you know, it kind of, you know, switches your mind frame of how we think about money, you know. We think, get it, earn it, spend it.
That part.
And there's so many other things that we can do with money to make it to where we can spend. But how did we get in a position to do that? And that's the biggest question.
You knew whose show to come on. You knew whose show to come on, because Kia, this is for Kia.
Okay.
I'm sharing it with y'all, but he came on here to educate me, because I needed this lesson. And this book I'm reading, I appreciate that.
Okay, most definitely.
I appreciate it. Because there's so many, I mean, I'm telling you, there's so many ways I can tighten up. I know it.
Right.
I know it.
Right.
You know, and I don't have difficulty affording things. But I feel like I would just have a lot more if I didn't have, you know, all these additional rudimentary expenses, you know?
Right.
You know, I just, you know, everybody wants to be, I want to be smart with my money.
Right.
You know, so you knew whose show to come on tonight. You
Hey,
knew what you was doing, Marcus.
You
knew what you was doing.
Hey, this is a new year. It's a new year. You know, at the beginning of the year, we always have, you know, New Year's resolutions. So this is going to be something that you're going to work on. And I'm going to follow up with you and see if you actually...
Did you cut Netflix?
Right.
Wait a minute, this new movie is coming on. It's going to be good.
Right.
And you're going to be like, girl, if you don't cut that.
Hey, well, I mean, and see, that's the thing, too. We don't say don't enjoy yourself. Like, life is short. You know, you have to enjoy yourself.
Right.
But what we also say is, like, how can you enjoy it to another magnitude? And that's where we're there to, you know, come in and kind of help that situation out.
I definitely want some Rockefeller, you know, lifestyle to some degree. Maybe not necessarily the 0.1%, but I do want to live comfortably, have nice savings, and make some smart decisions with my money. So I think everyone should sit down with a financial educator at some point. And like I said, I was looking for someone. So
Hey, well,
we may have to sit it on down now, Marcus. We may have to sit it on down. Sit down, go through Chase Bank statement with me, get the red pencil, the red pen, the magic marker, highlighter.
Right, all of that.
All of that.
All of
okay.
That. All of that. And
the Sharpie.
We're going to break it all down for you, and we're going to have you see for yourself. I'm not going to tell you.
I know it's crazy.
Right, I'm not going to tell you.
I see that.
Okay.
I look at it, I'm like, damn. All right, well, I still got some money, so I'm good.
And that's where most of us are. I mean, I'm no different, you know, from you or anybody else, and that's what we do. We do what our mothers taught us, what our parents, what our grandparents did, you know, or what they told us to do. And until you're shown something else, until you're shown another way, you're gonna do what you were taught or what you saw. Right, exactly. So what you saw. So when we go out into the communities, you know, there's no judgment, and like I said before, it can be intimidating, but it's not a judgment. We're looking to really show you how these things can be changed and how you can actually change them for yourself. Now the conversation is starting to get out a lot more than it was in the past, and that's why now you're starting to see more entrepreneurs are able to sustain and actually grow. You're seeing more. That's the reason why Social Security, they're saying that in the year 2033, 2034, it may not exist. Why?
I've heard that.
Right, and the reason why is because we're having more people who are they're not working W-2 jobs. They're entrepreneurs. They're not paying into Social Security. So if there are not as many people paying into Social Security, where's the pot? Where's the pot? It's going to dry up. So that's why when you talk about future income, right? When you're talking about building for the future, you're talking about 401ks, things of that nature. We can't count on Social Security, whether it's going to be there or not. The fact that it's up in the air, you don't want to put all your eggs in that in that basket. Then when you talk about the traditional sense of pensions, company pensions, you'd be surprised to know that a lot of the companies now, they don't even offer a company pension. So with that being said, when you talk about future income, right, even the military, if you look at some of the military now, they're not, some of their pensions that they used to offer, they don't offer them anymore. So when you're talking about future income, it's going to come from personal savings, personal investments. So, you know, that's where...
And a lot of us do not have them.
Exactly. And so there's ways that you can, being an entrepreneur, when you're an entrepreneur, you're not going to have a 401k. But there's ways that you can set up accounts to where it's working. You know, I like to say it's working actually better than a 401k for several different reasons. Number one, you have access to your money before 59 and a half. Number two, it's not attached to the markets. And then when you're talking about growing wealth, if you can avoid the impact of loss, which is that fluctuation, and you're constantly building, that gap over time, it'll be huge. And that's, again, some of the things that we talk about, you know. Again, it can be overwhelming, but when you sit down and we sit down on a one-on-one basis, it's broken down so simple for you. And you know, that's really what we do.
We're definitely gonna have to sit down and schedule something.
Okay, we definitely will.
Like you said, it's 2023. It's a new year.
Right.
You know, if anyone is interested, and hopefully you are, if you like money and you like to have it,
right,
you should sit down with a financial educator like Marcus here. He also does Zoom.
Right, we do everything.
So
we can do it in person. We can do it over Zoom. I do probably 85% of my meetings over Zoom.
There you go.
You know, and I'm licensed personally. I'm licensed in about 15 different states.
Okay.
My people on my team are all 48 states here, and then we have a couple that are licensed also in Alaska and Hawaii as well. So no matter where you are out there, all of your followers, all Miss Waters followers, no matter where you are, we can help you.
That part. So if you're watching from San Francisco, you're watching from New Mexico, you're watching from New York, sit down with a financial advisor in the comfort of your own home via computer. Meet Marcus and some of his team members and learn how to manage your money and make your money work for you. Because let me tell you something. Marcus is right here in Atlanta, honey, and he's going to be teaching me.
And that's a good thing. And again, even if you don't sit down with me, sit down with somebody, because really, seriously, this is a really big global crisis, the financial illiteracy. So, you know, I would love to help you. My team would love to help you. But even if we don't, you definitely want to get down and sit down with someone to get yourself together.
I agree, 100%. You are passionate about helping people find a way to manage their money and make it grow, and you are just a well-rounded person.
Well, thank you. I appreciate that.
I'm glad to know you.
Okay, I appreciate the kind
You're
words.
welcome. Now we have a lightning round for you. You ready for the lightning round?
Okay, let me get my
Go ahead,
my vast.
Get your situation. Get your situation. I'm trying to tell you. That royal tidy is nothing to be played with. People sleep on it now.
Hey, I'm telling you, it went from good to perfect.
I'm sure we added the extra. Top up. We added the extras to it. That's what did it. Now, where can we find out more about Money Works? How Money Works?
Okay, there's a couple places you can go. The Instagram is How Money Works Official. Okay, and then you can get in contact with me personally at MVF. The number 2, MVP.
Okay, y'all got that? All right, because Marcus is going to help you get your money straight.
And then also...
Okay, you ready for this lightning round?
I'm ready.
Okay, so I'm going to throw a word out at you.
Get ready. Let me get ready.
Okay, you don't have to think fast.
All right, I got to think fast. All right.
So I'm going to throw a word at you.
Okay.
And then you say the first word that comes to mind.
Okay.
Ready?
Got you.
Fidelity.
Banks.
FICO.
Credit score.
Okay. Experian.
Credit score. Credit score. That's the first thing that popped in my head.
Okay. Tuskegee.
Black college.
Okay. 2023.
Prosperous, healthy, vibrant building.
Perfect. Okay. Daycare.
My daughter's in one.
Okay. Cold call.
Hate them. Hate them. Hate cold calls. Hate cold calls.
Hate them. Okay. All right. 2 more. You ready?
Right, I'm ready.
Okay. Hot dog.
Don't eat them. Unless it's turkey.
Okay.
Turkey dog. Yeah. I don't eat pork.
Okay. No pork.
No pork.
Okay. Black woman.
Love them.
Love them.
Love them. Strong. I just love them.
Okay. Well, there you go. You did it.
All right.
Ding, 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 ding.
I got through the lightning round.
You did. Okay. Now, I want to ask you, by you being a brother, for the culture, about what kind of music you like. What music are you feeling right now?
I like a little bit of everything. I like hip hop. I like R&B. Right now, I listen to a little bit of jazz, but my main thing is R&B and hip hop.
R&B old school or R&B new school?
A little bit of both.
Okay.
I like a little bit of the old school, but I like, right now I'll probably listen to SZA. I like Ella Mai. I like, people around that.
What about
Janae
Aiko? Oh yeah, I love
I'm on that vibe.
Aiko.
I'm on that vibe. I'm on the, mellow, chill,
What about old school? Old school R&B you listening to?
I say Boys the Men.
Classic.
Boys the Men. Gotta listen to Boys the Men. I'm a Jagged Edge.
Woo!
I'm out here in Atlanta, Jagged Edge.
Got to.
Drew Hill.
Period. Baltimore. What's up?
I mean, the list goes on and on.
Yeah, I love that. Yeah. I love R&B music. Yeah. Honestly, I don't listen to it as much because I just be on my grind these days. Okay. So I'm listening to a lot of Migos, R.I.P. Takeoff. Okay. I'm listening to a lot of 21 Savage, NBA Youngboy. Yeah. I'm listening to a lot of Dirk. Okay. I'm listening to a lot. I mean, it's crazy. Yeah, I'm listening to a lot of them because they amps.
Right.
They amps.
See,
I don't really care for the murder talk.
Right.
But I'm all about my coins.
Yeah, right.
I like that part.
Right. Yeah, definitely. See, now I listen to the R&B, but I also, I got the hip hop as well. We do different things for different times. We do different things.
Whatever mood you feeling
at the time. So I'm listening to the Migos. So I'm listening to who else I listen to right now? Let me see who else. J. Cole. A lot of my family from North Carolina, so I listen to J. Cole.
What do you think about the real hot girl movement with Megan Thee Stallion?
Megan, I gotta give her credit. I gotta give her credit. I like what she's doing. I'm a dude. She's for the ladies.
And I'm a female, but at the same time, like I love her confidence. Love confidence. Yeah. It's the sex talk for me.
Right.
it's a bit much.
A little bit
for me,
over the top.
Just
you know.
for me, you know.
Right. And the thing is, like you said, I'm about all the confidence. I love the confidence. I love the confidence. I love the confidence from anybody
and they're
and
beautiful.
everybody. Right.
They're beautiful. Gorilla love. Love. You know, and you know, and I like her even more because she don't really be talking about sex.
Right. I actually, matter of fact, and this, if she sees this, I'm giving you a plug. Look.
Ow.
So I just heard a girl named Flo J, right?
Okay.
Flo J, and she's young. She's actually, and when you said Glorilla, that kind of reminded me of her because she's young. She's actually, now check the way that you spell her name is FLAU''JAE, I think it is, or JAU.
I didn't see any of that coming.
If you check her out, like she's young, but she's talking about something. I'm about the lyrics. I like the lyrics.
Me too. I'm about the
Look,
lyrics.
I'm about the lyrics. I'm about the lyrics. And she's young, and she's actually. I've seen her with Rick Ross and a couple of other people, but she's actually a student at LSU. She actually plays basketball. She plays basketball, and she's a freshman at LSU. Yeah, she's a freshman at LSU.
How'd you find out about her?
I just happened to come across her. Well, my oldest daughter is 15, and she's playing basketball. And I don't know how it came up, but it popped up, and I saw it, and I was like, man, she's nice. She can rap. She's rapping, singing. She's like a female type like Drake.
Nice.
Yeah, so check her out. Check her out. So, yeah, she's nice.
I'm gonna look her up.
Yeah, she's
and
nice.
When we do the video, I'm gonna have a shout to her.
All right, yeah, definitely.
That's what I gotta check out her stuff because I'm about the lyrics.
Yeah, she's
It's about the
rapping.
lyrics for me, and that's what I like about the rap because I can hear them.
Right.
I can hear all the lyrics,
Right.
even when they mumbling. I can
Right.
hear the lyrics. I can hear what they saying.
Yeah. So let me ask you one question.
Okay.
What you think about this Takeoff situation?
It broke my heart.
Right.
It absolutely ripped my soul out. Honestly, my girlfriend, like, I'm an empath.
Okay.
I feel deep.
Mm-hmm.
You can tell I'm very, comical and very, you know what I mean, animated because I feel so strongly.
Right.
You know, and when Takeoff passed away, honestly, I couldn't even listen to hip hop for a month. I couldn't. And, he had just dropped an album with his uncle, Quavo.
Right.
And I'm so looking forward to it, and when he passed away,
Right.
it still hurts. I try not to even think about it because it's so it's traumatizing to me.
Yeah, it's crazy.
Because he was just such a sweetheart. And I loved him as an artist. I thought he honestly was the soul of the group.
Yeah, I used to always go back and forth with people. I like Offset out of the group, but everybody would say that Takeoff is actually, like you said, the glue to the group, and it's just very unfortunate.
I honestly loved his solo record the best.
Yeah, well,
The Last Rocket.
right, right.
I mean, his double entendres, his swag, the ad libs. I mean, he was so talented.
Very talented, man. It's very unfortunate.
Never had no
that
beef
happened.
with nobody. Never had an issue with females.
Very unfortunate.
He was a human, so I'm not trying to put him up on a pedestal like
Right.
but he didn't deserve that.
Right.
It's just insult to injury. The fact
Right.
that it was just a freak accident.
Definitely is.
It was
there's
sickening.
really no word.
It broke my heart. I was like depressed for like a week.
Wow.
It took me a while to get out of that because it's just, and it's not the first time this happened. Same thing happened to me with Nipsey.
Yeah.
With P&B Rock.
Yeah. Young Dolph.
I was working at Grady.
Okay.
And my girlfriend, I used to work nights, so it's like 3 a.m. My girlfriend pulled up Young Dolph and his kids on her phone. And I'm like, oh, okay, wow, yeah. His baby looked just like him. She was like, he died today.
Wow. Yeah. Yeah, it was crazy.
What?
I was driving. I remember driving and hearing it on the radio. I was like, wait, no, I didn't hear that right.
It's happening way too often. It's
Way too often.
It has a state of unrest. You know what I'm saying? Because I just never know the next time I'm going to wake up and see another headline.
Right.
You know what I mean? And it's going to be another person that, you know, I have not just identified with, but that I really like their music, and their music really got me popping. And I wanted nothing but the best for them, and I couldn't wait for, you know, them to do another project or to do another song or something with somebody, another show, and they're gone.
Right. And then to like second that or piggyback off of that. You know, we talk about, like, you know, and that's not to take anything away from, you know, Takeoff or any of the other ones that we mentioned, but then we look at that and say, well, how many of, you know, people that we don't know that go through all of this stuff, and, you know, they don't get this publicity, and you know, like you said, for a week or a month, and you see this on all the social media when you see these celebrities, but then we don't think about what's happening on a daily basis, and they're getting no publicity, and nobody's talking about it. And the thing is, why? That's my biggest question. Why not? Why not? Why are we not talking about this? With, you know, especially amongst you know, in our community, you know, black on black crime, you know, gun violence, all of that. We bring it to the light when it happens to a celebrity, but what about when it's happening on a day-to-day basis, you know, in all of these different communities that we can go around and look at, you know? You're from where the Baltimore area, where you know what's going on in Baltimore, even right here in Atlanta, you know, so I like to put that light out there on, you know, just the gun violence.
It's horrible.
as a general, you know.
Yeah, it's horrible to think about these young men that are just losing their life.
Definitely.
You know, on a consistent basis.
Right. And
it's
over what?
Consistent.
Over what is the biggest question for me? Over what?
Whatever it is, it's not worth it.
Right. Exactly.
It's not worth their life.
Right.
Well, woo, we just went down a whole rabbit hole there, but it needed to be talked about. It needed to be talked about because we're losing too many young lives, whether they've reached international success with their talents or not. They still have so much to bring to this world. Right. And, you know, we mourn their losses, and it's just unfair to their friends, their family, the people that they leave behind, and it's just really unfair. What do you think when you see those homeless men and stuff in the city? What are your thoughts?
I mean, number one is, you know, I feel bad. That's the number one thought that comes into mind. Number two, I look at, you know, it's funny because that you asked that question, because I've actually had conversations downtown in Atlanta with some of the guys that are on the street. And, you know, people, when you see that, you're thinking, oh, well, they're just homeless. But you don't know that some of these people are doctors, former lawyers. These are former soldiers, things of that nature. They're not just all, you know, we see them, you know, they may have turned to drugs. They may have turned to alcoholism and things of that nature out there on the street. But what were they before? You know, so when I look at it, it's a story. It's a story. And I look at it, you know, sometimes and just look at myself and say, well, man, I'm blessed, you know, because, you know, decisions that I could have made could have led me, you know, down this same direction, you know, because it's a fine line between this path and that path of being up or being, you know, all the way down. So I look at it and try to figure out, like, how is it that we can actually help them? How is it that we can what can we actually do to help them? With this cold front that we just went through in the Midwest, that they just went through, the first thing that I thought of was, what is going to happen to the homeless people out there? I'm cold out here now, and I'm going inside the house, but what about if I have to be stuck, wearing a jacket? But what if I have to actually be out here in this? So that's pretty much where my mind goes, and how can, you know, what can be done to get them off of the street, you know? So that's where my mind goes.
Because it's so funny that you mentioned that you were talking to one of the homeless gentlemen, because I knew that there was a story there.
Yeah, definitely.
Because they're people.
Right.
We all have stories.
All of us.
Nobody wakes up and says,
right? That's why they gonna come to your show to tell their story.
Right. To tell their story.
Right.
But nobody just wakes up, and when they're 16 and say, when I grow up, I'm going to sleep under a bridge.
Right, exactly.
Nobody does that.
Everybody, all of them have a story. All of them have a story. Right. What is the story is the question. What's the story?
Woo! We're going to get into that another day.
Right.
I'm trying to tell you. We touched on some topics today.
Good topics.
But they say we had a time last night.
Right,
we had a time last night.
Right. And I enjoyed it. I enjoyed all of our conversation. I'm glad that, I was able to come to the royalty room and have this, get this information out here. Thank you.
Yes. And is there anything else you want to say to the audience before we close this evening?
The last thing that I want to say is pretty much what I've said, from the beginning, is that, and I'm here to, help you. My team is here to help you. And even if you don't, on real talk, even if you don't get help from me or anybody on my team, really, you should get help from someone, because it's really real, and we shouldn't have to struggle for the rest of our lives just because we don't know. It's 2023 now, so we have access. How Money Works. If you guys want to get anybody wants to get the How Money Works book, you can reach out to Kia or you can reach out to myself, and you could just DM me. Let me know you want a book. We'll get your address. We'll have one sent out to you. And then if you want to sit down and have the one-on-one, it is complimentary. There's no charge.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, that was Marcus Faison right here on the Royal Tea Room Live, and with his book, How Money Works. Ladies and gentlemen, we got to get our coins, and we need to know what to do with them once we get them. So contact me, contact Marcus, and I'm Kia Waters, and I'll see y'all next time. Thanks for joining us.
That was cool.
I can't sleep if you're not next to me, but I really need it, and I mean it, not just sexually. I love you for them reasons, all them secrets you had kept from me. Let you know I was there for you.